title of today's video is The 5 Commandments of Mass Building. Young men contact me all the time about how to get big and strong. Now, all these 5 individual points have been covered in depth in videos on my YouTube channel, but for some reason people don't put it all together to create their own regimen. So that's why I'm creating this video today, to give all 5 points to you in one video, and then you can go back to the library and view each one to get the depth. Okay, so now this is going to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year job. And this is why most people don't do this. We are less than 1% of the population. The bodybuilders, the powerlifters, and the champions are even a fraction of that. It's not that hard once you adopt it as your lifestyle, but if you're on the outside, it's going to seem intimidating, but you've got to give it a try. Otherwise, you're never going to achieve your goals. The first commandment of mass gain is you've got to power lift. And people say, well, I don't want to be a power lifter. If you're squatting and you're bench pressing and you're deadlifting, you're powerlifting, okay? But you've got to use enough weight to stimulate the body to grow. That's what powerlifting does. It's a full body movement. You're using many muscles, and it stimulates full body weight growth. The next point, number 2, has got to do with bodybuilding. Okay, you're going to be a power bodybuilder to gain mass. So the bodybuilding, when you train, you've got to train each set to failure. You're trying to pump the maximum amount of blood into the muscle belly, and that's what causes growth. You have to do this, and it's going to be painful. And most people cannot cross that pain threshold. As you get more and more into this type of training, it'll become easier, and you'll be able to push yourself farther and farther along to get a bigger and better pump. But that's what you've got to think. I'm not going to lift a certain amount of weight. I'm going for the pump. You're going by feel. When you're powerlifting, you have to rest between sets, and you'll know when you're ready. You'll feel recovered to get under that heavy weight again. Bodybuilding is a different animal. When you're bodybuilding, you do not rest between sets, and there's been a lot of crap written about how many seconds to take between sets, and that's what it is. It's crap. You're going for a muscle pump, and the way to get a muscle pump is that you do not rest between sets. And people will say, well, what about recovering my ATP and my glycogen? Your ATP is going to be recovered in a matter of seconds. I mean a couple of seconds. It's that fast. And when your ATP runs out, and it's going to run out in a couple of seconds, then your glycogen takes over. So don't worry about that, okay? As long as you're eating correctly. And we're going to talk about that. But you've got to do sets back to back with no rest. This is one of the biggest issues as to why people don't get big. I want to get big arms. How do I get big arms? Well, this is a key factor to get big anything. You've got to do sets back to back, and you build up to this. It's going to hurt, but you're going to get better and better at it as the time goes by. And I didn't want to say years because it's going to scare everybody, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes. It's going to take years to build quality muscle. You don't become a champion bodybuilder in a year or 2. The 4th commandment, again, has to do with bodybuilding, and that is volume. You've got to have volume incorporated into your bodybuilding routine in order to achieve the maximum pump. You've got to do sets to failure, but that pump increases with the volume also. You've got to have the two together. You've got to have failure and volume together. You know, if you watched my videos before, that when I do arms, I do 60 sets in 20 minutes. Sometimes that's not enough. And as you get used to these training techniques, you will actually start adding more and more volume. And that's how you grow over the years. The 5th and final commandment of mass gaining is the multi-carbohydrate carbohydrate leverage loading diet. I've talked about this in 2 other videos in my video library, but I'll go over it again. The multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet requires you to eat 6 meals a day consisting of 2 starchy carbohydrates, 2 fibrous carbohydrates, and 1 lean protein. Now, what is a starchy carbohydrate? It's like a potato. It's like rice. What is a fibrous carbohydrate? It's grains, it's green beans, and so forth. It's very easy to figure out. If you can't, you can look it up on your phone, and you'll get a list under each one of those categories. Now, the protein is a lean protein. It's chicken, it's tuna, it's steak, things like that. Very lean protein. And you're going to eat a large amount of calories throughout the day. Now, how many? It depends on the individual. It depends on your sex. But whatever you're eating, you're going to add a couple thousand calories to that. Okay? Now, what does this achieve? You have protein in your system all your waking hours. And protein is needed to rebuild those muscles and maintain a positive nitrogen balance. You've got to have that nitrogen balance to build muscle. Now, the carbohydrates release insulin, and insulin is anabolic. It builds muscle. Why do these professional bodybuilders shoot up with insulin? They get huge. It is anabolic, okay? So try this again. Multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet. I've got a couple videos on my YouTube channel that talk in depth about this diet. Now, I always believe that you should look like what you preach. And now here's a picture of me taken a couple days ago. It is April 2017. I'm 59 years old. This is what I look like without a shirt on. I'm only 190 pounds, and I've been doing this for 34 years, so I'm not some wannabe trainer with a certificate that's 50, 60 pounds overweight or a string bean, and I haven't done the work. I haven't had the career. I'm an 8-time world champion. I know what I'm talking about, okay? Take a look at the picture. Do you want to look like that? If the answer is yes, then you want to follow the 5 commandments of mass gaining. In review, the 5 commandments of mass gaining are: 1. Powerlifting. 2. Train to failure when bodybuilding. 3. No rest between sets when bodybuilding. 4. Adequate volume when bodybuilding. And 5. The multi-carbohydrate leverage loading diet.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.